Hey guys, I'm Erwin. I'm part of the Bramalea Tennis Club, one of the coaches there. And today we have someone special, someone who has taken university for tennis. This is Aurthi. Say hi.
Hi.
So the first question is, which university did you attend and for how many years, and why did you choose this university?
Okay, so I attended Western University and I played tennis all 4 years. I actually finished my undergrad, so and I'm currently at U of T, but I'm not playing for their team. Why did I choose that university? I really like their kinesiology program as well as their tennis team. I've heard good things about them.
So what made you want to decide to pursue tennis in university other than just focusing only on your studies?
So I played competitive tennis when I was younger, and then I got a shoulder injury where I had to stop for a while. So throughout high school, I didn't really play any tennis. Like, I played once in a while and I coached a bit, but it wasn't really competitive in nature. So I thought university tennis would be a good opportunity for me to kind of ease back into the competitive tennis aspect, but also do it in a team-based setting and represent a university. Additionally, I thought it would be a good challenge to kind of learn some life skills, trying to maintain tennis on the side in addition to academics, and do different things like that.
How was the enrollment process like? Did you enroll online? Did you enroll in person? Was it by phone?
So before, once I visited the campus, I reached out to the tennis coach and I was like, hey, I'm interested in joining the tennis team. He asked a bit of background information about me. He's like, oh, what did you do? Or what's your tennis background? Different things like that. And then after that, he told me about the tryout date, and it was halfway of a week, which is not good. I missed a week, but totally worth it because it was 3-day tryouts. And when you showed up, they took down the names. There was a fee for the tryouts itself. And then after the 3 days, they decided the team. And then after that, you would kind of go through the paperwork and process for becoming a varsity athlete. It's like a photo shoot and things like that, but additional fees for that as well.
Does it cost any money to register? And if so, how much?
So for the registration fee, that's after you join the tennis team. But for the tryout fee, I think it was around $20 to just try out for those 3 days. And then the registration fee kind of varied every year. So I played for all 4 years, and it varied, feels like forever ago. I think it varied between 100 or 150 to 250, depending on what the season schedule was like. So if you're playing OUAs away, then you would have to pay more to cover the hotel and things like that, transportation and things like that. But if you're playing at home, if OUAs is hosted at home and they're more home matches, then it'll be a bit less expensive. And as part of those registration fees, you also get swag. So sometimes you get jackets, sometimes you get duffel bags that are customized with Western logo on it, so that's always nice. But if you want to get uniforms, so I remember I wanted to get the Barney outfit, so the jacket as well as the track pants, and the whole tracksuit was expensive, but that came out of your pocket in addition to the registration fees. Okay, so this is the customized Western jacket. So the logo's right there, and then you have tennis underneath, and then you also have your name, your last name. My last name is way too long. It'll probably go around my whole arm, so I just have the shortened version. But it's always nice because whenever we go play tournaments, or any matches away from home or even at home, if all of us wear this, it kind of feels like you're a team. It feels you get that sense of unity, so it's always nice. So I didn't get this until I think my second year. The first year I kind of missed out on the Barney suit, but the rule is not to wear the track pants and the jacket at the same time. That's why it's called Barney suit, so you avoid that.
What levels of tennis are there, and what level of tennis are you?
So I think it's a bit different between the States and Canada. So in Canada, at university level, you'll have varsity, which is kind of the most competitive, and then you have intramurals, and then you have the recreational team. The latter two, you actually don't see it, I didn't see it at Western. I think U of T has that option, so they have the U of T Tennis Club where you can play recreationally, or you can join the intramurals. But speaking to Western's varsity team, once you do the tryouts and you qualify for the team, there are 6 lines of singles matches and then 3 doubles. So you're paired with another partner, so 6 people play doubles as well. And in terms of the actual competitive level, so I actually played anywhere between 1 to 6 during my 4 years. So I started off I think in 5, 6, and then second year I actually jumped up to 1, 2, and then it varied for the last 2 years based on the players who are able to play. Based on injuries and things like that, but also who qualifies for that team that year. So that always varied, and I also played on doubles. So again, that could vary anywhere between 1 to 3. So always varies.
which one did you prefer, singles or doubles?
I think like playing competitive tennis when I was young, it was very singles focused. I really enjoyed the doubles aspect of university tennis because you get that, you have your partner who's also on Western's tennis team, and it's a bit different. But I enjoyed both. I think with injuries, it's a bit tougher to play singles. At least you have a partner to kind of lean on in doubles, but I enjoyed both overall.
Nice.
Nice.
So on your first day to joining the tryouts or joining your team, were you nervous? And did you have any friends prior to the university coming into it?
So 4 years of trying out, every year was a different experience. First year I didn't know anyone, or I didn't think I knew anyone. After I made the team, I realized I trained with that year, the captain of the team when I was way younger. But going in, I didn't know anyone, and I did provide a background history about my tennis to the coach, and I guess he had high expectations for me. But truth was that I didn't train much throughout high school, so I probably didn't meet his expectations. So first day was a bit rough because I was a bit rusty, and he had high expectations. So he did pull me aside and he's like, "Hey, you played ITF and stuff. What is this tennis that I'm seeing?" So it was a bit nerve-wracking because the pressure was on. But the second day I went in with a new mindset, and I just I eased back into it. And by the third day I was a bit more comfortable. Second year I actually just joined the team. I didn't have to do the tryout because I came back from vacation a bit later, so I was just on the team. Second year was, to be honest, wasn't the best year. Lots of injuries, didn't play my best tennis, and third year I did have to do the tryout, but I did make sure that I trained throughout the summer between second year and third year to ensure that I didn't have as many injuries and to make sure I was fit to play. So I trained off court to make sure I was fit on court. And second year was also when I joined Intercounty to train throughout the summer, and I think I met Erwin and a few others. And then between third year and fourth year, I didn't train much, but I tried to maintain that level of minimal training at least, unlike the earlier years. And fourth year, I didn't have to try out because I was a captain, so I was actually part of the tryout process in terms of selecting the teammate. So it was a different experience all 4 years. In terms of nervousness, first year is always nerve-wracking because you don't know anyone, you don't know what to expect. Future years, it gets a bit easier, but again, every year, different people try out, so you just have to make sure that you maintain your A game to kind of match up with them and make sure that you make the team relative to other teammates.
Were there days set up specifically for training with your team? And how did those training sessions pan out?
I think that was one of the reasons I chose Western, because there were structured practice sessions. I can't say it's the same for all universities because I've heard from other university students that, we just organize our own practices whenever. But speaking to Western's structured tennis sessions, we had a few days when it was in the evening, so I think it was 4:30 to 6 or something like that, and then a few days in the mornings, early 7 to 8:30. Morning sessions were not that popular. The turnout was really bad. So during my fourth year, I tried to push for more evening sessions so that people do get the practices. And then I also tried to introduce knowing the importance of fitness and staying fit off court to prevent injuries. With the kin background, I try to emphasize the importance of adding fitness into the tennis team's routine. So we started working with the football coach at Western University, and he started training us with the exercises that are going to make us stronger on the tennis court and prevent injuries. So that would happen once a week, and then if we wanted, we could go and train additional days at that Varsity gym under the assistance of those trainers. So overall, it was basically training every single day, whether it be tennis or fitness, and then the weekends were matches. So you were playing continuously, and I think if I could provide if I could only give one tip for students looking into university tennis, I'd say make sure that you're you make time to rest yourself, because it is super intense during the season. For Western, it was only or Canadian university tennis, the season's only earlier on in the year, and then when I was at university, it kind of settled down throughout the year. I think now they have a few events throughout the year to make sure that you kind of keep playing and you keep competing, but make sure you make time to rest and make sure you make time to maintain that off-court fitness so that you prevent injuries or minimize injuries at least.
Okay. When there was another competition coming up, how did your team prepare for it?
Yeah, so I think when we start off the week, we start off focusing on drills and different things, working on different strokes, but the closer we get to the weekend, we start focusing on match play and working with partners that were assigned for doubles or different things like that. To break down one practice, we start off with warming up. So that'd be like fitness, so like, warming up, just jogging, stretching, and things like that. And then we'd warm up rally-wise, and then after that we'll do some drills with the coach. And then the drills kind of varied. It was very repetitive, but sometimes if the coach felt like he wanted to work on endurance, he'd just feed like 30 to 40 balls side to side and see how long you last. And then sometimes he worked on like at the net, like he found like women's tennis, he wanted to focus on volleys and being aggressive at the net. So he worked on drills for that, and that was more pertinent to doubles. And then after that we'd do like more points and match play. But that portion of practice, so the match play portion of practice, would get more emphasis later on in the week, so that when you're closer to competition during the weekend time, you'll have more match play practice.
Did you have an audience or spectators during any of your matches? And if so, how were they?
I think with university tennis, it's a different audience than when you play like OTA tournaments and stuff. It's not just your parents cheering you on, it's actually teammates and sometimes their parents as well. So if they're cheering for you, yes, it's super supportive, it's super helpful, it gives you energy on court. But if it's the opposite team, it's kind of, it does bother me, it does annoy. I think I can speak to every player. If it's the opposite team, it does bother you. But I think part of the challenge is trying to not let it affect your game and just focusing on the game itself. And that goes both ways, because if they're encouraging you, let that feed into your energy level. The other thing is, if it's your coach, they're also part of the spectators, I guess. So sometimes they tell you things to work on and the pressure's on because they're sitting right on the sidelines and they're watching you and they're making sure that you apply the changes they mentioned. Or sometimes you just get feedback, they're like, just win, we need the win. And we're like, okay, what do I do, right? So it varies based on the spectator as well as the type of feedback you receive. But overall, I think that's one of the differences between playing like junior tennis and university tennis.
How did you manage to take time out of your own schedule to juggle all of like school, university, and your tennis?
I think it depends on the type of person you are. So if you like to keep busy, I think taking on university tennis shouldn't be a problem for you. I personally found it helpful because it was something that distracted me from study. So if I needed a break from studying, it was like productive procrastination, because I'm getting fit, playing tennis, and having a good time and meeting up with friends and talking about other things, not just playing tennis. So sometimes it was social tennis, so that was good as well. And it also helped you maintain like a healthy lifestyle throughout undergrad. So that's also a plus, because people say freshman 15. Mine was actually freshman minus 15, because I try to lead a healthier lifestyle because of tennis. Like tennis motivated me to eat healthy, make sure I work out, and minimize injuries and different things like that. So what I actually did was I would look at my week, and if I had like tennis scheduled for certain days, then I'd work my studying around that, because studying is a bit more flexible than like those scheduled sessions. So those evening practices, I'd make sure I show up to that, but then I'd minimize like the travel time. So I just take my tennis racket to class, and then I would go to class, and then I'll study in between. And then since the courts are on campus as well, I'll just go to practice and then I'll go home, so that I save time over there and study more. So you kind of learn to find ways to squeeze studying in between those practice sessions, or in between class and practice sessions. And those actually teach you life skills, because later on in life, once you're outside of school, you'll have to juggle multiple things. And taking on university tennis will teach you those life skills earlier on, and I guess put you one step ahead compared to your peers.
Were there any goals that you have while pursuing your tennis career?
Yeah, I started off first year, I was like, you know what, I'm just easing in. So I wanted to play competitive tennis. So that was like my primary goal. Like I started off like generic, and then as I kind of progressed through first year and second year, I was like, you know what, I want to start taking a leadership role later on down the line in varsity tennis. So one of my goals was to become a captain by fourth year, which I was able to do. And then another goal was just like leading a healthier lifestyle because of tennis. So my 4 years there, I had friends who were like, you know what, like it's hard to like, you know, stay fit, or it's hard to like, you know, not put on weight in like university, but I used tennis as kind of my media or my outlet to make sure that I led a healthy lifestyle and I could perform better on court. So I think those three goals I was able to meet, but in terms of minimizing injuries, I wish I had started earlier in terms of maintaining that off-court fitness sessions, because I wouldn't have had to struggle those first 2 years. So I guess that one goal I could have started a bit earlier to help me with my performance, but other than that, overall, I think it went well.
Do you have any plans after university to continue doing tennis?
Yeah, so I wanted to maintain the competitive tennis level, but it was a bit tough because after Western, I actually pursued a professional degree program at U of T, so it's a bit tough to kind of maintain that. I'm not playing for U of T, so that's also tough, but I think after I finished studying in general and like transition into the job field, I guess, is that a word? No. Okay, so I guess after I transition from school to working, I want to make sure that I play at least inter-county or something like that and keep up with my tennis. And I think it'll be a bit more social tennis, but I want to make sure that there is some competitive aspect to it. And I want to get back into using tennis as like my motivation to stay fit and maintain that kind of life skill throughout my whole life, if possible.
Do you recommend juniors coming up to take on tennis in university?
Yeah, definitely. I think if you love tennis, then it's a great opportunity for you to maintain the skill throughout university while you're trying to maintain or while you're trying to gain a degree or continue schooling past that. Additionally, you learn a lot of life skills like discipline, time management, and leading a healthy lifestyle, which you can maintain after university as well. And you also get to meet like amazing people. Like you work as a team, you represent a university, and just great friendships that will last a lifetime because of your love for the sport as well as just representing the university as a whole. So I think it's like a valuable experience that if you have the opportunity, definitely take it, and you'll definitely get a lot out of it.
Okay, and that's all the questions that we have for today. Thank you, Aurthi, for answering every single question in such pure detail. Thank you very much. And thank you, Tamanna, for being the camera holder for 20 minutes straight. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
All right, awesome. See you guys in the court.